Good evening, and just a wrap-up of the Grand Rapids City Council for September 14th. Once again, just a little bit about the work session. We are in the final stages of finalizing our city budget for 2016. The good news is the numbers that we looked at tonight, the city feels that we could reduce our operating budget by about $85,000. And if we can do that through some creative ways between now and September 28th, we will do it. And as I said, the good news is that the city tax rate will actually stay the same as it was last year. I think that's very positive with everything that's been going on out in the other areas and what some of the needs are, from the school board side and the county side, if we can hold the line from the city side on what our tax rate is. We had a couple of proclamations this afternoon. One was on Hunger Action Month of September. It's amazing what's raised locally and distributed over 4.8 million pounds of food through the North Central Food Bank over there. A lot of volunteers go into working on that efforts and stuff. It's sad that there's such a need out there, and we've helped over 1,000 families, but it's a need that is being met by a lot of community input and resources from businesses and residents that go out and staff that facility. Also, we had a proclamation thanking the City of Cohasset for the $22,000 that they did to the riverfront project at the library. Certainly they didn't have to do that, but they chose a good corporate and community partner to our west that they felt that that was something, because they have a lot of residents that use the library. They felt that was a way that they could contribute to that project that helps in the overall cost control at the library. Normally don't talk a lot about our public forum, but tonight I would like to. It was opened up, as you know, and we'll talk about it later on what was taken action from the council standpoint of the termination of the lease of the Showboat Landing site. So with that in mind and being on the council agenda, there was a fair amount of residents here voicing their concerns. We had 4 residents that got up and spoke, and all of them were in favor of not terminating that lease. But as you know, and I've talked about at the council meeting, based on our comp plan that we've had in place, and we've been doing comp plans, which is kind of the roadmap of how we want to grow this city. It's nothing new. It's been out there for quite some time. What I would like to say is that just because we've terminated the lease tonight with Showboat does not mean that we're not concerned and looking for a venue where that type of an activity can take place. And as the city, we will work through our Arts and Culture Commission to try and find a venue and a home that if Showboat chooses to continue on in some format, there will be a venue out there where they can go and they can have their performances. And if we're going to improve the Mississippi River from the standpoint of residence use and tourism use, we need to look at following through on our comp plan, which includes the development of industrial areas, but in development of the downtown riverfront, where we have said the main focus was going to be. We're looking at trying to change the look of Grand Rapids through this downtown area, trying to increase it from a walkability and a safety standpoint, but also from the standpoint of how it can be impacted through arts and cultures in different venues, of whether it's entertainment or business growth or living growth from a standpoint of housing and stuff. So a lot to follow on that, and I'm sure we will get a lot of feedback as a result of the action that we took tonight. But one thing that I would like to remind folks out there is that we were elected to try and move this community forward, and the council with all good intentions. I believe every one of them's here and ran for the right reasons. They want to see positive growth and Grand Rapids grow in the right way. So they voted with their heart, and as I said, we'll find a venue and a way to make that work. So with that, we had police department review. A couple of things that were interesting. Drug-related incidents were down 19%. Assaults were down 50%. This is partway through the year. Property damage was down 26%. Those are the positives. On the negative side, burglaries were up 41%. Thefts were up 23%. And personal injury was up 23%. So there's a balance that has to be in there. One of the council members had asked that maybe it would be good to get the numbers at the end of the year in January, February, when the PD comes back in again, and maybe take a look at a 5-year span. How has this been impacted, and how has it gone forward over the last 5 years? Along with the termination of the lease with Showboat, we also terminated our reclassification in our ARBO agreement. We have shared an employee out there. That has been putting a drain on how and what we're doing. The city of Grand Rapids is in the process of making some structural changes to our employee statuses in some areas. We need additional staffing in the stormwater side, so Steve Anderson's going to move over there. Jeff Wilson, who is doing part-time work for the city of Grand Rapids, but also for Arbo Township, will be moving in, and he will be working strictly for the city of Grand Rapids in the public works side. We transferred Jackie Heinrich. Melissa Skoglund, as I talked about 2 weeks ago, had transferred or took an opportunity to take a job with the county in the county attorney's office, and we had wished her well at that point in time, but we've temporarily moved Jacqueline Heinrich into the position of community assistance officer to an administrative assistant to help with the administrative issues. In the PD, we're going to reclassify that to be a community service officer, which is in line with other organizations and police departments across the country, and we'll be doing that over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll be posting to try and fill that position, and then Jackie, I believe, would be going back to the community assistance officer. We paid the bills, and once again, as I said, we will get together in 2 weeks, and at that point in time, we should have a number that is not to exceed on the levy side, and we will be reporting on that on September 28th. Have a good evening, and we look forward to talking to you again on the 28th.